Good afternoon, everybody. This is Robert at Scott Leroy Marketing. We'll get started with our overview of chat, groups, and referrals in KW Command. But before we get started, there's a couple of things I want to get out of the way. First is I did do a sound check before we got started, but for those of us that joined after the sound check, excuse me, if you'll look up near the very top of your screen, you should have these same 5 buttons that I do. If you'll click on this one just to the left of center, that's going to open up the chat window here. And this is where you're going to send me any questions that you have throughout the class. If there's anything you're unclear on, anything you'd like me to go back over, definitely let me know there in the chat window. I'm going to leave that up here just to make sure that I can see those as they come in. This class is recorded. That's what you saw me doing down there in the bottom left corner in that countdown. And that should be available hopefully within just a couple of hours after we finish at the latest tomorrow at slmtraining.com. So it's S as in Scott, L as in Leroy, M as in marketing, training.com. And then lastly, you do have the option if you want to call in to listen to the class versus using your computer speakers. That number has been by on the screen a couple of times here, but I did just send it to you guys there in the chat window also. Okay. So to get started, the first thing we want to do is get logged into Command. And if you're not familiar with that, you're going to go to agent.kw.com, not mykw.kw.com. This is agent.kw.com, and sign in using the same username and password that you use for mykw. It's the same username and password for that, for the KW app when you're logging in as an agent, for Kelly, for KW Video, for several different services that are part of the Keller Cloud. They all use the same username and password. Excuse me. Once you're on your Command homepage, they've actually redone this recently, so some things have been moved around. I need to move this here. First thing we need to do is come down here at the bottom right and accept cookies. That's going to hide that message. Oh man, they've moved things around a lot. Okay, so it's up to you whether or not we want to accept those cookies. If you continue using the site, that implies that you are accepting the cookies. And unfortunately, you do have to do that every time you log into Command. It's not something you do once and it goes away forever. Let's see if we can find the chat stuff. Okay, it looks like chat with anybody has been removed. So it looks like we're going to skip past the chat section. So where we are now is in the Connect section here. We've got the Command section of Command and we've got the Connect section of Command. If you guys will click here on Connect to come into the section here, the only thing in here for the time being is these groups. And groups are very similar to the way that they function in Facebook. You can invite people in your market center across all of KW as members of your team, and you can create a group for kind of any purpose that you want to. You can create a group for, say, if you're hosting the holiday party at your market center, you can create that group and involve the people that are involved in that. You can create a group for your entire market center, which is what most of these are about. You can create a group for your team. If you're the lead agent or if you're a member on a team, you can create that group and everybody in the team can be in there and you can share communications and updates and things. Very similar to the way that it works in Facebook. Now it's up to you which one of those you want to use. They function pretty similarly. If you want to keep everything within KW, Command is your option there. Over here on the left, it's going to list all of the groups that we're a member of here, and it looks like Scott's a member of several. Let's click into the Pennsylvania Greater group here. This is for the Pennsylvania, what's it called, region, so it's several market centers together. And again, of course, we're being slow as Christmas. While we're waiting on that, what we're seeing here in the middle is the most recent posts in all of the groups that you're a member of. So most recently, 11:35 a.m. today, Eric posted in the Command Lab, asking about removing tags from everybody in a database. Unfortunately, that is not possible. So we could go in there to this group and tell him, unfortunately, that's not possible if we wanted to do that. And then farther down, it will show farther back posts. And it doesn't matter which group they're in. It'll tell you which group it was posted in, and you can click on the name of that group to go see that post and respond and post your own stuff. All right, so I'm going to go in a new tab. Oops. Go in a new tab, back to the Command homepage so that we can go work on referrals, because apparently the Connect and groups and everything is being super, super slow. So what we're going to do is over here on the left on the Command homepage, again, you're just going to open a new tab and go back to Command. And over here on the left, we're going to go to the one, it's got a little person silhouette inside this little icon for a geotagged location. And that means referrals. So we'll click on that. And here we are on Scott's Referrals Dashboard. And there's actually not a lot of information on here, but it can be kind of confusing if you're not familiar with it. Starting at the top, we've got these different sections. Dashboard is a little bit of a summary of these three sections here. It's going to list a summary of referrals that you're working on here. It's going to list the people that are already in your referral network, and then you'll have the option to go and add new referrals or add people to your network. We're going to jump over here we'll skip those up there at the top left for the time being. We'll go to Grow My Network here. And what it's asking here is to know my location based on my IP address so that it can show me agents around my physical location. It's up to you. Does it make a difference if you're viewing in incognito mode? It kind of doesn't. We use incognito almost exclusively here when we're working in agents' accounts, and it rarely ever gives us any trouble. I'm using a guest mode on my browser because I have incognito going doing something else. And I really don't think that has anything to do with what's going on. Now, if you're having trouble on yours and you are using incognito, it wouldn't hurt to try the regular Chrome instead of incognito. That's a good question. Okay, so this is going to show me agents that are around my current location. So I'll click Allow just to see what's there. And apparently I did that too late. So where this is going to take me is in here to Kansas, and the closest market centers are in Wichita, or where is Topeka? Wichita, El Dorado, Emporia. Topeka is up over here. So I'm going to zoom in on Topeka a little bit. And once you zoom in far enough, it's going to start showing these little teal dots. Okay, so there's all these dots here. What we're seeing here, each and every one of these green dots, they are more green than they used to be, is a closing of a KW agent that's working in this area. Now, what it's showing over here on the right is the agents that represent these different dots here. Now, one of the things you need to understand about this list here is this is showing the agents by default sorted by the number of closed units, so it's the one that has the most closed units first. What it doesn't tell you, and what we had to figure out the hard way, is that this agent here at the top is the most closed units overall in their entire service area, not just in the area that's shown on the map here. Because you'll notice as I hover over Darren's name and his search result here, you'll notice there's only 4 dots that turn red. And as I hover over Annette, it's going to show me some different dots that turn red. There we go. There's about a dozen there. If I go down to Kelly, different dots will turn red. There's a few more there. So it's not showing who has the most production in the area that you're zoomed in on the map. It's showing you who has closed anything in the area on your map and how many have they closed total in their entire service area. So if that's clear as mud, let me know. I'll try to explain that a little bit differently. Just want to point out that Darren here, he's at the top of the list. He has the most production of all the agents in this list, all 99 agents here. But in this area we're zoomed in on, he only has 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. He's only closed 4 listings in this particular area that we're looking at in the map. So this results on the right for closed units may not necessarily be the person you want to send a referral to, because they may not actually have much experience in this area. And it looks like Darren doesn't. But when we came down here to Kelly, she had, it looks like 20-ish, maybe 2 dozen closings in this area. What does Christina have here? She's got a little bit fewer than Kelly. So Kelly looks to be, out of the first couple of results here, the person who's most experienced in this particular area. Another way you can see how many closings are from a particular agent in this area is just to come out here to the map and hover over any of these dots here. And it's going to turn red to highlight every other closing that this particular agent has had. And when I click on this dot, there we go. It shows me it's Tyler Frank, and it drops down to have him at the top of the list here in the search results. Now, he's not at the very top of this list, but he does have, it looks like 15, maybe 20 closings in this area. I could go over to another one here. Actually, I think I'd have to click off of Tyler and hover over another one. And this shows me, this is, you see on the right there, it's highlighted John Ringgold. He's had a number of closings in this area. And if I click on that, it's going to show me him and, you know, his profile and everything. And if I were to click on more info here or click on his name over here on the right, that's going to take me to his profile, or sorry, it's going to expand out his search result with his profile information. So the team that he's on, his contact information, his total number of closed units, list and buy side, total volume. So that's like 3.8 million there in the last 12 months. And then average sales price in the last 12 months is 123K. So he is doing pretty good for himself. He's definitely capped, more than capped in the last 12 months. So this may be a good guy to work with in this area. So what you do at that point, you have a couple of options here. You can click this button here to request for John to join your referral network if you think you're going to be sending referral business to him in the future. And then once you're done, let me just go ahead and click on this. Once you're done sending that invitation, you're just going to, you know, send a note, hey, I'd like to add you to my referral network, or, you know, I like your production stats or something like that. You'd send him the invitation. And what happens after you send that invitation is it's going to pop up this other box here. This is just sending the referral directly to the agent without adding them to the referral network. So if I click on this one, this is going to show me the referral information that's going to get sent over to John. So we're choosing, is this a buyer, seller, or renter? How much of a referral fee that you're asking for once this closes, how long John has to respond to this referral, so whether he wants to accept it or counter it or reject it, the price range that your buyer or seller, click over to seller, there we go, or renter is looking to spend. We're going to pretend this is a buyer here, and then any notes about this buyer. Now this information is going to be sent to him immediately. Down here below this yellow highlighted section here, he's not going to get this information until he actually accepts the request. So he's not going to get the name of the client. He's not going to get any contact information about the client. So he can't just go work that referral without actually letting you know that he's working that referral. So we're going to, by the way, all of the fields on here are required. You have to fill in every field on here. So we've got a minimum price of, we'll do 125K, and my num lock is off. No, it's not. There we go. And then a max price of 350K. That seems to be right in the middle of his range, actually starting just above his average here. And then down here, we are required to add a note here. So you could do something like, you know, this is my cousin moving to Topeka. And apparently this is being slow as Christmas as well. Maybe eventually. And it has totally frozen. Okay. There we go. This is my cousin moving to Topeka. Got that note there. And then down here, you're either choosing a contact that's already in your command database or adding a new contact to your database and then sending that contact information here to John. If you select from database, you're just going to click here in this drop down and you're going to search for the name of your contact. Does Scott have a John? No. Okay, Ariel, she's one of our support techs here. So we could be sending Ariel's information to John, provided data is incorrect. I think that means that Ariel doesn't have any contact information. So we're going to throw in an E there. Nope, throw in an S. Scott. We're going to pretend we're sending him Scott's information. And it does have a form of contact in here so that this agent can reach out to this client here that they're working with the referral. The other option is you can create a new contact and you can throw in like, you know, John Smith. And then you're letting, underneath that, you're letting the agent that you're sending the referral to know whether they're pre-approved and or pre-qualified. So we'll go ahead and check both of those boxes just for giggles. And then let me move this chat back over here and accept the cookies again. And then you're going to put in their current address. I don't know whether this one is required, but I'm going to assume that it is because it's always, this is a new field here. All the information on the referral form has always been required, so I'm going to assume that it is required. So I'm going to do 123 East Main Street in Louisville, Kentucky. We'll pretend that's his actual address. And then where he'd like to move to. So we're just going to search Topeka, Kansas, and then you'll put in their phone number. and their email address. Eventually. There we go. And then the last thing you're choosing is how quickly this person actually wants to perform their transaction, when they want to buy or when they want to sell or when they want to rent buy. So we'll have to scroll down here when we click on this field. This person wants to buy by Halloween. We'll just choose that there. And then what this would do is when we click on add contact and send, it's going to put this person into my command database with this information that we put here. And then it's going to send this referral over to John. Now, I don't actually have a referral to send to John. I don't know John. He would be very confused to receive this referral from Scott. So I'm not actually going to send that to him. I'm just going to cancel this. But that is what the process looks like when you're sending a referral. Now, that's searching by production in a particular area. You also have the option up here in this drop down to search by a market center. So let's click on market center here. If I were to click on this market center's icon, it's going to show me all the agents that are in this market center here. So it's going to again start with John, and this is sorting by, again, closed units. You can sort by something different if you want, by name, by listings if you're looking for a listing agent, or by buy side if you're looking for a buyer's agent, or by leases if you're sending a renter over to them. And you can also do random. Not sure why you would want to do that, but you can. And then also up here, you've got some different filters you can apply. So here you can choose, okay, I want to see just agents that are MAPs, that are enrolled in MAPs, that they're getting coaching, they're building their business. We know that they're at a high level. And then I want their minimum number of closed units to be, 30. And this is a buyer's side. So remember, we're pretending we're sending a buyer. So I'm going to ignore listings sold, but I want a minimum of their 30 listings, or excuse me, 30 closings in the last 12 months to have been buy side, to have been 15. So, they are a buyer oriented person, that kind of thing. You could even up that to like 20. We'll do that. And then you can also say, hey, I want this person to have attended last year's mega camp. Don't know why that's an option, or why this year's mega camp isn't on there, or why family reunion isn't on there, or things like that. But we're just going to apply this filter. And so now it shows me there are 4 agents that meet those criteria. John has minimum 30 closed units. He's got 56. Buy side, he's got at least 20 there. We've also got Christina up here. Let me expand her here. She's got 74 closed units, and buy sides was 44, so she's worked with a lot of buyers. Now, say you can't pick a favorite here. You don't know who you want to send this referral to. What you can do from here is broadcast this referral. Once you're under 100 search results here, you can broadcast the referral to everybody in that search result list there. So they get some basic information, basically that information that we saw above that yellow highlight. So let me just click on the button here. They're going to get this information up here, and then once you choose who actually gets the referral after they've responded, then they'll actually get the client information down here that's yellow highlighted. So you would do the same information again, and then you also have the option up here to show them whether or not to show them this is you broadcasting this referral or just an agent broadcasting the referral. They're not going to see it specifically you broadcasting it. So by default, that's off. You can check that to turn that back on. And then you do have an additional option here for tenant or landlord. We're not going to go into too much specifics there. And you've got all the same fields here. You can select from the database. You can create a new contact. And what will happen is each one of these 4 people is going to get a notification here in command in the referral section that someone has broadcasted a referral to them and several other agents, and they have 24 hours to decide whether they want to work with this referral. And then of however many of them choose to accept that referral, say 2 of them do, you choose one of those 2 to actually get this referral, and then they'll get this information down here. Is all of this clear as mud at this point? Again, remember, if you have any questions, use the chat window here to send those over to me. So we'll cancel that. Now, the last option up here to search by is My Network. So this is just going to show a map location of agents that are already in your referral network, people that have already accepted your invitation or you've accepted theirs. So I'm going to have to zoom out quite a lot here to see the agents that are in Scott's network. And in fact, I have no idea where Scott's friends are going to be. Let's go down here to Florida. He probably knows a lot of people in Florida. To the Orlando area here. See if he's accepted anybody in Orlando. Okay, this should be loading people by now. Maybe? Guess not. This one isn't super useful for adding new people to your referral network because they're already in your network. Now, one of the things that you can't do here in command, and I'm not sure why this isn't available, is you can't search for a specific person to add to your referral network. You'd have to go search the area, you'd have to narrow down the criteria, you'd have to search in the market center to find a particular agent to add to your referral network. So you can do that either in Kelly, you can add a specific person to your referral network, or you can do that within KW Connect. So I'm not going to cover how to do that in Kelly because we do have a separate class showing Kelly and how to do that. So we're just going to go do that in KW Connect. So what we'll do is open a new tab and we're going to log into mykw.kw.com. And I'll give you guys about 20-30 seconds to do that. All right, once we're logged into MyKW, we're actually going to be leaving MyKW by clicking on Education here, and that's going to take us into KW Connect. You can log directly into kwconnect.com if you want to. We've seen it be about 50-50 whether it actually works correctly. If you click on that education link, it always works. It will take you directly into KW Connect. And then from there, in the very top menu, you're going to click on Referrals. And that'll take you to a very similar dashboard to what you saw over in Command. But here, what we'll be able to do is click on Grow My Network. And now up in the top right, we can actually search by a particular associate's name. So while I'm waiting for this to load, one of the things I want to point out to you guys, everything you can do in referrals here in KW Connect, you can do in Command, except for this one thing that we're doing here, searching by name. Everything you can do in Command, you can do here in Connect as far as referrals go. And you can also do all of those same things, including searching for an agent by name on Kelly as well. Okay, search for Sean Respris. Let's try that. I'm going to switch back over to Scott here. So we'll add Sean. We're going to click this and add Sean to the referral network. So class 8/28/19. Send that invitation. And Sean, if you're there in referrals and you get that notification, go ahead and accept that or deny it. It's either one, because something that's relatively new, actually it's kind of old, in the referral section is that you don't have to already have someone in your referral network if you want to send them a referral. You can send them a referral directly without even inviting them. But this is going to be the same information. You're sending them that same referral information. However, what you're doing here is you're not selecting a client that's already in your command database, nor are you adding whoever you put in here to your command database. That's one of the big differences here working in referrals in Connect versus working them in Command, is that in Command you're selecting or adding a contact in your database. Here in Connect, that contact information doesn't get saved anywhere. It just gets sent over to that referral agent there. Now, he did accept that referral. So we're in the network here. So I'm going to send a referral to you, Sean. Go ahead and just follow my instructions. Don't do anything until I tell you to. This is going to be a little bit awkward here. So I'm going to send a referral here from Connect to Sean. I'm going to leave pretty much everything the default. Going to put in some bogus numbers here. Not 1,000,002. Okay, 300 or 310. There we go. So this is Jamie Heineman. Perlin's fine. And looking to buy within 6 months. He is pre-approved, and this is a test. So I'm sending this information over to Sean. Unfortunately, I can't show you what it's going to look like on Sean's side, but I can sort of describe it to you. And I don't have a way to have Sean show you. So what's going to happen is he'll get that request. He'll see the notification in Kelly. He'll get the notification in Command. He'll also get an email notification about that referral request. And he can respond to that from Kelly, Command, or here within Connect. It's going to show in his My Referrals under Awaiting Response in the Inbound section here in the center column. And it's going to look pretty similar to this, except he's going to have some buttons down here at the bottom for Accept, Counter, or Reject. So accept is pretty much all of them are self-explanatory. Accept is yes, okay, I want to work with this referral with the exact referral terms that you submitted here. Counter is I want to counter typically with a lower referral fee. So say I had sent this over to Sean with a 40% referral fee. That's kind of ridiculous. So Sean could counter that and drop that referral fee down here to the normal 25 or depending on your area 23-20% referral. So Sean, would you click on that counter, or before you do that, sorry. And then the other option Sean has is to deny or reject that referral. So he could say, no, I don't want to work that referral. It's not in my price range. It's not in my area. It's not, something I feel like dealing with. And agents, that's their prerogative. They can do that. But Sean, if you would click on counter there and change the referral fee down to say 20 or 23%, because this is just for giggles. So if you'd let me know once you've done that. Okay, so Sean just sent that. So let me refresh the page here. In fact, let me go to command because that's where we started. So this is going to be under awaiting response. What I'm supposed to be able to do here is accept, counter, or reject his counter. So instead, I'm going to have to do that over here in Connect. If you guys want to, go ahead and send an email to support or to go to the ideas.kw.com and let them know, or use the support chat in command, let them know that referrals are still not working correctly. So what's supposed to be able to do in command is you have these options for accept, counter, or reject his counter. So he countered with 19% referral fee. I'm going to pretend that's okay, pretend I'm an actual agent. So I will accept his counter. So I'm going to send a message, thanks for working with me. So we'll accept that. So now that's going to move over to my outbound section and Sean's inbound section. And he's going to have kind of the same buttons that I do here. He's going to have send note, activity log, and close referral. Send note is going to be sending a note over to me, or I'm sending one to him about the process. So you can send a note to me like, I met with, what was the name here, Jamie. We looked at 3 houses. He's going to sleep on it and get back to me. Or, I met with Jamie. We showed 10 houses. He's very indecisive. We'll see what happens next time. Or I gave Jamie a call. He's very busy. We're not going to be able to meet until next week or something like that. So you can send those notes from you as the agent actually working the referral back to the agent who sent you the referral, or they can go the other way around. So I'm Scott. I sent the referral to Sean. So I can send a note of, Jamie collects, what does he collect? Hubcaps. So he'll need a big garage to store/display them. Just in case Jamie hadn't mentioned that to him, I could let Sean know that Jamie does those things, and that's something to keep an eye out when I'm looking for listings to show to Jamie, or Sean to show to Jamie. And then so, you go back and forth, you've met with the client, they picked a house, they made it all the way through to closing. What you can do there is this is typically something that the agent actually working the referral would do. You would close this referral. So you would mark it as either closed, they made it all the way to closing, they signed paperwork, now they are in possession of this house. You just click close and you click submit. Now say it didn't close, say it fell through for whatever reason. You actually have to explain that reason both to the referring agent, the one who sent you the referral, for why it didn't work out, and to your own command system to track what happened with your referrals, and you can refer back to those to see where you might be able to improve, what worked, what didn't work, that kind of thing. So say it didn't close, and I'm pretending I'm Sean here. Say it didn't close because Jamie overestimated his income from his, I don't know, he overestimated his income. I'm not going to say from what because I have no idea. So he overestimated his income, and so when it came time to apply for financing, it didn't work out, so he wasn't able to buy in the range that he needed, and he didn't have any fallback plan, so it didn't work out. So we'll just say, overestimated income, so financing fell through, didn't have a backup plan. We'll try again in a couple of years. Oops, that's not how you spell yours. And submit that. So I'm pretending I'm Sean, submitting that over here to Scott. So where that's going to show now is in both Command and in Connect is in the View Closed Referrals section, because you notice that disappeared here from the active referrals, either the awaiting response, inbound, or outbound. So if I click on View Closed Referrals, this is where I can see ones that I have worked in the past. So we've had one that expired, so it didn't get responded to fast enough. We've got a couple that the agent that we sent it to didn't want to work with that referral for whatever reason. We've got some that didn't make it all the way through to closing. And we'll see, I don't know how these are sorted here. I guess it shows the most recent one last. So we'll see this one that we worked with Sean here, that why it didn't close and things like that. And you can click on the activity log at any stage, whether it's open or closed, to see what has transpired in this referral. And it's going to show the oldest one first. So the referral was created, he countered, I accepted it, I sent an update, Sean sent an update. Hey Sean, thanks for that. And then finally I closed it because financing didn't go through and whatever, and I was pretending that Sean closed that. It doesn't say who closed it. You also have the option for anything that was either lost or funded to reopen that referral. So say several months down the road, Jamie comes back and he calls Sean and says, okay, I've got some more saved up. I've got a new job that's got this, letter of intent and things like that. So I should be able to afford more house now. So Sean could come back and reopen this referral and go through that whole process again and hopefully get it all the way to funded and closed. And then same for anything funded. I don't know why you'd ever want to reopen it, maybe to add a note or something, but you do have that option there. Okay, where are we? That did finally load. Okay, so that's referrals. It's pretty much everything I can show you in referrals, except I guess one last thing here is in your referral network, people that are already in your network, you can just send them referrals right here just from this list. You can also add tags to areas that they work with and things like that. I think, I have no way of confirming this, these might pull from Command. I don't know for sure. Okay, coming back here to groups that we were waiting forever for it to load. This is showing me that Pennsylvania Greater group. What's going to happen a lot, you're going to see this a lot, is people advertising their listings or advertising their open houses or price reductions, whatever, especially in this region here. This is going to be really popular type of posts. And somebody had a question here, but it's going to be mostly this type of thing in this type of group. You also have the option to create your own group. So we'll click on this groups icon here to go back to our list of groups. There we go. We've got our list of groups here. And down at the bottom, we do have this button that says create a new group. And it is that simple. You click the button and we're just going to put in this information about the group and voila, the group is created. You can create as many groups as you want for any purpose that you want. One thing to keep in mind though is that these are 100% internal. Only other KW associates can be part of these groups. So you can't invite your co-broker on the other side of the deal for anything. You can't invite your friends and family unless they're members of KW. So it's only ever going to be KW associates in these groups. So if you need other people in the group, you would need to use Facebook. So starting at the top, we're just going to name the group here. We'll just call it Class 8 2819. This is a test class for the description. Keywords, education, comma, what is that, Scott Leroy, because apparently we're a big name in education. Technology, things like that. You can separate those out. What this is going to do is eventually there's going to be a search function for joining groups. Right now, as far as I can tell, groups is just invitation only, but eventually you are going to be able to search for groups to join by things like these keywords. Under that, we've got an option to add moderators. This will also send an invitation to join the group. So I'm going to send an invitation to me, hopefully. There we go. That actually worked there. You can also invite other members. So I'm going to invite Sean just for giggles. There we go. So both me and Sean are going to get invitations to join this group, and when I accept the invitation, I'm going to be a moderator of the group. I can do admin type things. Lastly, we're choosing, or not lastly, but next we're choosing whether this is going to be public, so anybody can search for it. This is going to be closed, or excuse me, anybody can search for it, and when they find it, they can see everything posted in it. This is they can search for it, but they won't be able to see anything posted in it. And then this is you can't search for it. So we're just going to leave it closed. And then you're choosing an icon for the group. So I'm going to just use the SLM icon. There we go, just use the SLM logo there. And we'll create this group. And if anybody knows how to search for groups currently, let me know, because that may already be available and I just don't know about it. And of course, we're being slow as Christmas again. Well, the important thing was the referrals. I'm glad we got that covered. Groups is kind of secondary. Yes, I want to try again. But what it's showing here, okay, so we're back on the dashboard instead of in the group section here, but it's going to show roughly the same stuff at this point. So we've got this class, there we go, this class group that I just added right here. So I'm going to open that up as Scott just to show you some information about what the group looks like. Like I said, very similar to Facebook, can do very similar things. Some features aren't available yet. We'll get to that in just a minute, this events and resources, but I'll show you what is available. So starting at the top here, we've got that art icon that I uploaded there. When I click here, apparently it does nothing. You can also invite new members. Now there's supposed to be kind of a banner image back here, again, very similar to Facebook, and we can control that in just a little bit from the settings page here. You can also post to the group. Anybody in the group can post to the group. So this is the first post. We'll post that there. And then since I'm a moderator, I'm logged in as Scott, I can pin this post to the top if I want to. So any new posts would show underneath this one, versus if it were unpinned, this one would get pushed down by new posts as they come in. Voila, things like that. So over here is that about section. So the contact information for the moderator, got that title and that description there. Over here in settings, we can change that information that we use to set the class up. We can change the name, we can change the description, we can change or add those keywords. We can change the location of it. By default, it's going to be the market center that I'm a member of, but we can change that somewhere else. Got that profile graphic, that's that one in the little circle in the top left. We've also got this banner graphic here, so you can upload your own banner across the back there. And then once people join the group, they'll show, you can do add moderators here, and you can select users right here. I like to do like Sean. Yeah, they would have to accept that invitation before they would show here, which is no big deal. And then you can change the privacy, or you can archive the group. Oh, also you can remove people from being moderators. I can't do that if I'm the only member of the group, but I could do that once I go and accept it on my end. Or Scott, anyway. Or you can archive this group, which I'm going to do at the end of the class here. Archive is more or less permanent. If you wanted to unarchive a group, what it tells you is it's not easily reversible. KW International would have to get involved there. So no, I don't want to archive just yet. So where that invitation goes is you're supposed to get a notification in, what's that called? In your email, but also I'm going to move this back down to this other screen. It keeps getting in the way, but I am still monitoring it. Things moved around. Let me come back here to the Connect dashboard. So remember, on Scott's side, I sent the invitation over here to me, to Robert. Here on the command dashboard, where it's showing your groups here and that summary of all posts in your groups, over on the right here is where you're going to find those invites to those groups. So Sean, if you're here on the dashboard, you could click that join button there. And when I do that, I'm just going to come back over to Scott's side here. I'm going to go back to the group here, back to feed. Anyway, what's supposed to happen is it's going to show me in the members section over on the right side of the group. So those other two tabs that were there, that events and that resources there, events, both of those are unavailable currently. I don't see it. It's probably because groups is on the fritz right now. So both events and resources are unavailable right now. Events is, again, very similar to events in Facebook. So say you've got a group for your team, and so your team is hosting an open house. You can create an event of that open house, and you can organize who's doing what in that open house. You can invite other agents in your market center to that event, things like that. And then also in that resources tab, this is again going to be great for teams and market centers. Say you have some common documents or some common questions or things that you need to be able to get to all agents and not necessarily have to email to them. You want them to be available whenever they want, not wait on you emailing them back. You can put those there in that resources section there. So like referral agreements, well, those are going to be in .loop and DocuSign moving forward. But rules about the office or information about accessing the building, or if you're a member of a team, your code of conduct, things like that, you can put in resources. Okay. Since there is no chat anymore, apparently, we can't go back and cover that. But that was groups and referrals in Command, and there are a couple of things still missing in the referrals in Command that you have to do in Connect, but it's not very hard to jump over there. Or you can do that in Kelly also, those same things. That's going to do it for our overview of apparently non-existent chat anymore, groups and referrals in KW Command. Everybody have a great day.